Croeso Sianel Blaid Llwyd. As I promised, we're back at Password and Tyson's Day 16, and before I do anything else, I have to give a big shout out to Siv Valian, who not only is doing most of this music you'll be hearing in Password, or you could if I wasn't talking over it, but he very kindly wrote that piece of music you were hearing earlier. I needed some music to go with my little intro there with the patrons, so he did something for me and it's great. So thanks Siv for doing that, and as I promise you'll get a credit in all my descriptions from now on. And also I have to give a mention to my top patrons as usual. So Evan King, Samuto, Popot, David Taylor, The Beholder, Neop, Brandon Bradford, Anubis Silverwind, and the guy who's responsible for this whole video in the first place, Grizz. So thanks to all of you and all the other patrons for helping support this channel. I know I just waffle on over people's work and you all seem to like it somehow. I don't know. But let's get going here with Tyson's Day 16. While I slept, I wasn't resting. Every day seemed to have more questions rather than answers. And those questions worried me to my core as to why they'd even come up. The syringe, the vial, the rabbit, even Oswin's rat had me swimming in both worry and confusion. What did it all mean? How did it all connect? Why did I feel like I was the centre of it all? Then there was the vault. What was so important to have stored on the other side? What exactly was the thing that made me see the things I did, if not that room itself? Most importantly, who was marked for death? Why? I opened my eyes and saw it was sometime early in the morning. I wasn't tired anymore though. Too distracted with my thoughts to rest. Tyson was still behind me, holding me close to his front. I could feel his muzzle resting against my head and he was snoring softly. It felt fine. I wasn't sure exactly how to feel, all things considered, but I felt somewhat safe. Maybe just the thought that I had someone I could consider a brother nearby helped. Or at least helped as much as it could given he was pressed up right under my tail. With only 2 thin pieces of fabric separating us, guilt started to make me worry about if I should be considering Ty as a means to get off. He'd offered already, sure. Plus the stress was likely getting to him as much as it was to me too. But it almost felt like a line I shouldn't be crossing. As I pulled away, Ty made to grab me lazily in his sleep and mumbling something incoherent. Not that he managed to keep me in place, but instead curling up into the now empty space beside him, unaware I was gone. Once I was up, I put on some clothes, assuming that what I needed was a walk to just clear my head. Carefully I wandered downstairs with my hands in my pockets, quietly in case someone was around, or maybe I was listening out for anything else that might be wrong. In the middle of the foyer I looked around, and all I could hear was the faint white noise that came with absolute silence. I checked the air next, breathing deep through my nose. Nothing out of the ordinary. The lingering smell of food from the kitchen, Benson somewhere nearby. That's about it. Sighing out, I wandered towards the back door and placed my hands carefully on it to look out the window. The world was still, and I could see Benson stand in the middle of the back deck, looking out to the woods. Easing open the door, I peeked around it, using it as a barrier while I tried to get Benson's attention. "You're doing a poor job of being subtle, Dave. But no need to be afraid, there's nothing but us out here right now." All right. I stayed by the door just in case, but was now solidly outside the first time since being out in the woods. How did... As expected, there hasn't been anything of note. Just a quiet night with my thoughts. I'm assuming that your thoughts are what's keeping you up? No, I slept, but... Yeah, I guess with everything going on, I just... Sighing out, I wandered a little closer, scratching my arm. This was meant to be a vacation. You know, something fun. But now I'm just... Well, I've broken down and cried, so that's... Okay, maybe that was a good thing, but the road blowing up? Yes, that is something that troubles me as well. Not in that our escape method is cut off, but whoever blew it up in the first place as well. There's no other way off the mountain. Unless some new way's been invented, I see no means to land aircraft on the mountain either. Not enough level terrain or wide enough space. Well, shy of the area around the mill, but trust that Oswin and I would have noticed a helicopter. Benson scratched his moustache, sighing out. Although, with how much of a shut-in Oswin is, it's a wonder he notices anything these days. Is that why the security system is there, so he can keep tabs while he's safely in his lab? That's what he'd claim, although, to be fair, I was the one that did most of the installing. Can't be too careful when what visitors you do have are those with a lot of money and power, with rarely the wisdom to know how to use either. You're talking about Orlando's dad again? Among other things. It's no different to when their parents were around, given the company was much the same. Consider it part of the package deal being wealthy grants, you my boy. I'm kind of thankful that, I guess, my family wasn't well off. I wouldn't say that. From what I understood, your mother had quite the salary and your father had a well-paying job as well. I guess that's true. I never really saw it that way. Rarely do those with money understand just how fortunate they are over those that do not have it. Much in the same way those that do not have money have no grasp of what it's like to have it. As they say, ignorance is bliss. But I don't think that's right at all. No? Well, Tyson was dirt poor and I shared all I had with him because it felt fairer that way. And Orlando, he always had neat toys, but he'd share them with me, new games and stuff. Then I'm glad the newer generation's at least somewhat more aware of those around them. Or perhaps it's just your natural magnetism at work, Dave. It could be, but I don't think I'll ever know. From what I've seen, you've done well in rallying your friends together. After all, they were willing to search the house for you in hopes of finding the gun they did not even know existed. Where did that gun ever end up? Just with Oswin, right? Let's see. I believe the night you were looking for the gun, I had it in my possession. I handed it off to Oswin the day after. Granted, it wasn't the only gun I had with me, as I was cleaning both his and mine that day. Proper gun maintenance is a good habit to practice. I almost jumped when I heard the door behind me shift, stepping away from it as someone stepped out to join us in the morning air. What's this, having a conversation at this hour? I believe Dave was just having some trouble sleeping and wanted someone to talk to. Oh, hardly surprising. How much danger do you think we're in? Surely you've been in dangerous situations before, right? That's an interesting question. I do believe that most of the situations Oswin has found himself in exclude all the bad ones I've circumvented him from even noticing. I'm not a child, Benson. I know that I know full well when you've been up to something of my own good. Then I shall keep this in mind the next time Roswell makes a pass at your cereal, and I'll let you step in personally. Oswin huffed, shaking his head. That boy will learn one day where the line is drawn. But is today that day, sir? I hardly think you'd be so magnanimous to drop all of your strong opinions after that show at breakfast. It may just be. It's something that all things considered I like to square away with him just in case the worst happens. Not that I don't like the idea of you two playing nice, but why are you awake? Much like you, I had too much on my mind to sleep. And true to any other day, you put on your lab coat rather than walk around in your pyjamas. Well, having another one, I wear this lab coat, I intend to work. The day I take it off for good is the day I finally stop actively working on things. You understand, right, Dave? You wear that orange hooded sweater a fair bit. I doubt you have more than one. Well, I guess that's kind of the same, but it's mostly just comfortable. It's not even really mine, although I guess I've had it long enough that it may as well be. Pardon? Oh, the orange hoodie is Tyson's, or was. Just some old thing he'd stretched out from wearing it too long. I just sort of got given it one day I was cold and found it comfy. So like a hand-me-down. I can't say I'd ever had that experience. No, that's because your upbringing told you there was no sense in not buying everything new. Maybe I'd understand it better if I had siblings growing up. My parents bought all my things new as well. Well, as someone that grew up with siblings, handing down old clothes and the like was hardly a foreign concept. When times were tough, you may do. Like now? How do you mean? Although I suppose in a broad sense times are tough, but not for financial reasons. Oswin looked at Benson, giving him a quick study before nodding his head. I'm up now. Get some sleep, Benson. Chances are we're going to have quite a day ahead of us. While I don't think I'll be getting much sleep, I will, however, take you up on your offer. Good night, gentlemen. Benson gave a short bow before wandering back inside, leaving me alone with Oswin outside again. He gestured me towards the edge of the deck where we'd stood before and looked out over the backyard. It was a solid couple of minutes before he said anything, quietly as if he was trying to keep me calm. You left an impression on me last we spoke. Like a few hours ago. That's right. I went to the lab and asked Thanatos what his take on this was. I stayed quiet, expecting him to elaborate on his own. As I thought, he wasn't exactly helpful insofar as knowing anything new. Or at least that's what he says. Great, I guess. Oh, cheer up, boy. It's not all bad. We have a few tricks up our sleeve yet. Tricks? You're starting to sound like Roswell. I chuckled weakly, shaking my head. Or maybe it's a bore thing. Is this the part where I jokingly call you a racist? Yeah, I guess you would. Would it help if I told you a secret? Perhaps what's behind the vault door? Probably not. Knowing what's behind it isn't going to stop Jack and Orlando's dad from coming to take it anyway, right? Perhaps, but you might then understand why I'm very much interested in keeping it out of his hands. How bad can it be that you're putting us at risk by not just handing it over? I don't think Memphis really cares much about what I've hidden behind the door, but if he were to find out then, well, we'd have a lot more death on our hands. I grumbled for a bit before sighing out, shooting him a sideward glance. Okay, fine. What's behind the door? Behind that door is my greatest work, and my greatest failure. A single-dose vial of something I never should have created. A poison? A cure? I frowned, trying to think about how that could be a bad thing, but he continued before I could raise the question. Or at least it should be, when in reality it isn't. So it is a poison. Not in a conventional sense, but let me explain it in a different way. What do you imagine would happen if a type of medicine existed that cured everything and anything? Well, that'd be great, right? No one would need to be sick, you could save countless lives. You'd think so, but alas, that's not the case. But it literally cures everything, doesn't it? The actual medicine would, yes. But think about how pharmaceutical companies make their money. They make their money off the sick, off those that can afford to buy medicine that may not work. Dave, sick people get desperate to do anything they can to survive. For every one of those people, another is in a position to take advantage. Take advantage how? Or fakes, cheaper alternatives that people would turn to only to be given a saline solution for their efforts when they can't afford the real thing. But whoever made it could just make it cheap, right? Not if it's expensive to make. But even then, this is assuming it passes the medical board for medication, and there are a lot of interested parties ensuring that the sick stay sick, so the money keeps coming in. But that's awful. It is, but that's how the world works. It's more problematic than that too. Imagine all the people who no longer have jobs because it's one medicine making everything they've worked on redundant. Overnight you collapse a whole industry. Well, good thing that the thing behind the vault door isn't that medicine then, right? Instead we have... what? Well, it's technically that very medicine, Dave, but tailored to one specific individual were they still able to take it. The last that time is long gone now. It may as well just be poison. Why aren't they able to take it? What would happen if I took it instead? Put simply, the person who is made for can no longer take it. You cannot cure what they have, like with any other person who is dead. But if you took it, you would assuredly die. Oh. It's all right, Dave. It serves as something for me to remember them by, that's all. When my time comes, I'm sure that someone will take care of what's behind that door for me. And if I need to die to protect it, then so be it. But for now, we'll need to ensure everyone's ready for the days ahead. Oswin backed away from the railing and scratched his chin. Speaking of, you'd best get some sleep if you can. What about you? I'll be fine. I've had some coffee and trusted if you hear some gunshots, I'll have noticed an unwelcomed guest on the property and I've given them a proper greeting. Isn't there anything else? Anything at all I can do instead to prepare? Not really. Not until everyone's awake. Although... He stared me over, deciding not to add anything more until I actually gestured for him to continue. The scavenger hunt, how's that faring? The question blindsided me and I did a double take, wondering if I'd heard him correctly. I think we'd mostly forgotten about it with everything kind of happening. Oh, shame. If you find any more of them, I'd very much like you to continue searching. Really? With anything going on, you still want us to keep searching for those medals? I do. After all, they're very important. If anything, it'll give you something to focus on that isn't impending doom, should it make any difference. I gave him a funny look, but I found myself yawning. Tiredness was creeping in and became more of a pressing need than arguing the point with him at this time of the morning. Sweet dreams, Dave. I shall see you in a few hours. Making my way back upstairs, I wandered to the bed I spent the night in. Everything was as if I'd never left, and I tried to make myself comfortable with everything still running through my head. I wondered just how dangerous this thing was behind the vault door, if it was just a tall tale to keep me distracted from the knife-toting rabbits somewhere in the woods. Sure enough, though, my eyelids were growing heavy, and cuddling down in the warm covers, I drifted off. Although it was not long after that I found myself waking up with the day properly starting. In a daze, I woke up and got out of bed again. The few comments thrown my way I mumbled incoherently in reply to, but that seemed enough to get me by. I was still so tired. I hoped that I'd end up just passing out from exhaustion later, just as an excuse to have a good rest. It felt strange to want to just pass out with the danger just out of view, but someone else could worry about it for a while in my place, right? Much like Benson had done already, but again... Most of us ran into each other on the stairs, a lot of us a combination of tired, restless and hungry. It was only at the mention of food that I felt my stomach rumble, and thought of eating made me feel a little more normal. This was our routine now. Gathered together, someone would go into the kitchen to get food, and we'd eat and chat. Or at least it was. Now we're all just sitting at the table, unsure of what was meant to happen now. So, how did everyone sleep last night? Everyone's attention went to Dean, although no one replied immediately. That's bad, huh? Oh, I didn't do too badly, all things considered. Could have been worse. Oh, it's not that, Dean. Just, we're all kind of rattled. The road blowing up is certainly, What I mean is no one could have seen that coming. I'm with you there. If the whole road is gone, then someone was planning on making sure that we couldn't get away. Well, we didn't do anything to anyone. Well, at least I didn't. Well, none of us did. This is just bad luck. I thought you had all the luck, Roswell. Shouldn't that, Well, as much as I'd usually agree with you, I guess my luck just didn't pan out this time, Dave. Well, luck or no luck, what's the plan? Are we able to just wait until someone comes looking? Are we wandering down the main road? With the lunatic in the woods? No way we should get out there. Plus, do you know how long it'd take to get anywhere? Well, if we got to the main road, that should be fine, right? Hail down a car, we could hitchhike. Well, I don't think that's going to work. Too many of us and well, we don't know just how bad the damage is, do we? One wrong move and we'd be in trouble. So, we're stuck, right? We're certain that we're stuck. I turned to the other three, seeing if they had anything to add. The moment I did, however, we're not stuck. Not if we accept that there's danger. But the woods, right? That's literally where the danger is. Oh, I think I get it. If they got into the woods, then they must be able to get off if they set the bomb, yeah? Only place we haven't searched is the woods. Sal nodded quickly, shooting Dean a quick look. We could try going through the forest, if worst comes to worst. I'm not going out there. Not until I can be sure I'm not going to be chased by him again. Not even if we all went together? Dude, are you seriously suggesting safety in numbers? How the fuck is that going to work? I have no idea where we're going. It's not the best plan, or even the safest. But at least we have an option should things get to the point where we can't stay here. That's all well and good, but it doesn't help us figure out what to do now. Any luck with our phones? We all reached into our pockets and checked, but after a few moments it was clear that whatever signal we had still wasn't available to us. So that's a no. Whatever happened with the landline idea? I can answer that. Our eyes all went to the door, seeing Oswin standing there with his arms folded. He stepped close to the table, adjusted his glasses and continued. The landline idea failed because there isn't one. How do you not have a landline? Who am I going to want to contact? I have a cell phone, as does Benson. I can assure you there are very few people I contact with it, and I'd much rather do my correspondence in person anyway. Speaking of, how is he? Well, I've been up all night. I imagine he's resting, right? Yeah, they tagged out however long ago it was. That's right. Although in the time I've been keeping watch, I've not had to worry about firing off my gun. Nothing has appeared as far as I could tell. Are you sure you just didn't miss anything? Oswin grunted, shooting Roswell a dirty look. Yes, I'm positive. So for the time being, we should be alright. They're not going to make a move now they're all awake, are they? Well, it's hard to say. Truth be told, it would make sense for any movement to be made during daylight for general navigation. Even a rabbit would know better than to make a move in the dark. Why? I thought they could see in the dark. Well, they can, but us on high alert would no doubt make for a poor move whoever is out there is outnumbered. Well, sure, but how do they stay? We're all awake. If we stay in groups, picking us off to get what they're after will be that much harder. So stick together while we do what exactly? Search your way to safety? Off this mountain, I mean? Yeah, restricts our searches just around the house if we're staying as far away from the danger as possible, right? Let's give us many options for finding things to get away from the house. Well, as it turns out, there is something else you could be searching for. Oh, what is it? The medals. There's a confused silence shared among those at the table after he spoke. Looks were exchanged as Oswin's smile faded. You may believe this to just be a game Roswell and Benson devised, but I assure you that along with coming out this month alive, fulfilling the scavenger hunt to the best of your ability is equally important. How the fuck is that more important than getting out of here alive? I thought that it was only meant to be a game. Is it something to keep us distracted from thinking about being in danger constantly? Partially, though I did say it's equally important, and not more so. Indulge me or not, it's ultimately your call. Much like you, I have no idea where they are. Well, we found some at least. Show me. Well, it's not like they're here with us now. Why would we be carrying them with us? Fine then, can you describe them then? If you give us a couple of minutes, we can go retrieve them. It shouldn't be too hard. Come on, Tyson. Give me a hand, please. Fine. Most of them are just in your room, right, Dave? I think so. I've just kind of left them laying around so you'd see them pretty easily. With that, the pair left in a hurry, but importantly, together. It seemed the idea of sticking in numbers was already questionably a good idea. Now then, while we wait for them to get back, I'd be mean to ask if no one is hungry. I'd have expected coffee on the table by now. I guess we're all just not really been in the mood to do anything about it. Hardly surprising. Although you can't just not eat. You should have seen how well that fed for Dave in his throes of sadness. I'm right here. I'm very well aware. All the more reason you should at least eat something lest you go the day with an empty stomach. I remember what it's like to go days without food, and it's not pleasant. Well, I could make scrambled eggs, toast. Everyone's fine with that. I'll come help, I guess. Someone better make the coffee while you're sorting that out anyway. Dean and Orlando wandered towards the kitchen while Oswin made himself comfortable at the table. The silence was uncomfortable, mostly because we all weren't sure what was going to happen next. Tyson and Sal returned after a little bit, dumping what medals they'd found on the table and sitting down. It wasn't long before Dean and Orlando emerged again, having hurried the preparation of breakfast they could rejoin the group. So, these are the medals. This many? I didn't expect you to have been so diligent. I looked at the medals on the table with a frown. There weren't that many, and even what we did have we'd found by sheer luck outside the one we directly got a hint for. Well, quite resourceful, I'll have you know. Roswell, I put this down to sheer dumb luck more than anything you consciously did. In any case, what have we got of the set? First one is Aquarius, found in the hedge maze by Orlando. Sal blurted out a quick apology for going to his room to get the medal, to which Orlando just waved it off. Aquarius, right. What next? I pointed out the medal I found in the greenhouse, quickly speaking up. I found this one underneath the giant pumpkin in the greenhouse. The pumpkin? That's a bizarre place to have found it, but no doubt there are the more obscure places that these things could be found. I almost tripped over it, so yeah. Given that pumpkin had been growing there for quite a while, it's a wonder anyone found it. But this one is Taurus. Hold on, can we just back up and find out why you know which is which? Oh, why wouldn't I? The medals belong to my family. Oh. I look quickly to Tyson. What about that one that we found, Ty? It's not here. I've no idea what you're talking about. You know, in the maze? That was Aquarius, unless there was a second medal. There was, I think. Kinda. Well, which is it? Did you find a medal or not? Well, if I found one, it'd be on the fucking table. Fair enough. I scratched my head and caught Tyson's eye. Only a couple of moments passed, but he quickly shook his head. Something to bring up with him later, it seemed. So, what now? Did we do good? Well, it's hardly a complete set, but you're making progress. Plenty more to go, however. Should pose enough of a thing to focus on to distract you from what dangers are lurking in the woods. If not that, then I have something else to offer. Such as what? $1 million each. Oh, what did you say? Too low? I'll make it $2 million then. I honestly don't care either way. Oswin, that's a lot of money. You're really reckless for your money, you know that. Am I? Dude, you can't just casually drop numbers like that. 7 million without batting an eye? Normal people can't do that. I don't understand the issue. None of you are normal, so I wasn't paying attention to anyone other than Oswin. That's why the spoon that flew across the table and smacked him across the face made me do a double take. Roswell. $2 million is not a paltry sum of money, and we don't need to be bribed to go along with stuff just because. Does that warrant a spoon flying across the table, boy? Have you no table manners? If we're talking propriety, I don't think you have any right to judge me, Mr. I'm throwing money at problems. How dare you, boy? God, stop, you're acting like children. Well, I might be young enough, but what's his excuse? You did this with Tyson, now you're doing this with Oswin, Roswell. Not cool. We have other things to be stressing us out without you add into the mix. But that's a lot of money. Money that I'm free to do with as I choose. It's going to do a lot more good as an incentive than to stave off worry than sitting around in my bank account. If you're offering the money, then fine, we'll take it. He clearly doesn't want it, and if we get out this alive, the money will be nice to cover whatever therapy we might need to put this behind us. Is it really okay? Of course it's not. The offer has been made. Should you wish to take the money after all is said and done, or refuse, we can deal with it then. Is this fine, Roswell? Roswell seemed to be grumbling to himself, but said nothing to refute him. I noticed Sal carefully sliding the cutlery away from him lest any more went airborne, and threw me a quick nod when he seemed satisfied nothing was in reach. I'll take it as a yes. And on that note, I shall leave you to it. I take it you already have your assigned buddies from your game? That shall do for now. For what? A buddy system for staying safe, remember? Guess if we're looking for medals again, it makes sense we may as well do it in the teams we started with. Indeed. Wait, we have a problem then. Oh, right. It's no problem. Roswell can come with Dean and myself. Sure, it'll be a group of 3, but who really cares at this point? Oh, all right, sure. Guess no problem at all then, right? I guess not. With our group set and something resembling a task under our belts, we ate what food we were in the mood for before splitting up. I'd followed Ty to the dining room automatically. Sure, part of it that he was my partner, but another bigger part was he was just someone I was used to following. Suddenly he stopped, sighing out and turning to look at me. Ty, what's wrong? Oh, nothing, just this whole thing is fucked. That's absolutely a something. He reached out and lazily slapped my face, keeping contact from my forehead down to the tip of my nose. Brat. Brother. If his tail wasn't wagging a mile a minute, I wouldn't have been too sure he'd have taken it, but he seemed to relax. Are you still feeling scared? Fucking terrified. Do you want to talk about it? Oh, no. Did you need to talk about it? Probably. We can talk about where we look for medals then, besides, spending time together and stuff. He grunted, eyeing me off carefully. Alright, where are we looking? I don't even know. They could be anywhere, including the other half of the not medal you found. Why do you even keep that to yourself, anyway? It wasn't a medal. Well, yeah, but it's half of one, right? Maybe someone else might have found the other half or know where to look. Ty shrugged but remained stiff, huffing and looking to the side.
I don't want their fucking help. I want to do this on my own.
Oh.
Fuck, no, wait. I meant finding the other half of the medal thing.
Right, so I should just...
No, just... Oh, come here.
He dragged me by the arm off to the side into one of the side rooms, shutting the door behind him. I waited and he paced, mumbling something to himself before growling and turning to me.
What I want is to be with you, alright?
But you just said...
I swear, Dave, you just make me want to just...
He grabbed me roughly by the cheeks, the excess fluff falling through his digits.
Ow, quit it.
His grip loosens, but he didn't move his hand. Instead, he just watched me, and I watched him back silently. Just watching how his expression shifted slightly, the twitching of his nose, the few visible whiskers I could see trembling.
Sorry.
Should we sit down? We don't have to search for medals right away.
Alright, sure. This room is old as fuck. Reminds me of what I think an old person's place looks like.
You've never... Well, I guess not, but still.
Why would I? Never knew one said, and the other fuck if I know.
You're swearing a lot, Ty.
Well, I can swear if I fucking want to.
Now you're starting to sound like Mom. Tyson's voice went low, quiet. He didn't seem mad, although that comment really didn't rub him the right way.
Well, don't compare me to her.
Why not? You'd probably... Well, actually, it's because you're very similar. You two don't get along, right?
Along with other things.
I'm worried about what she's going to say when we get back home, like how she'll react. Probably good that you had plans to bail, right?
Yeah, I can imagine she'd flip.
If she's even around.
She'd gotta be, right?
I love my mom, but I don't know. She's busy.
A great way to fucking deal with your husband dying. Way to abandon your kid, Carol.
Hey, she's... I wanted to jump to her defense, but instead I just collapsed in a slump on a nearby chair, sighing out. Maybe we should talk about Dad when I get home. You know, Mom and me.
Yeah? Why?
Well, I barely see her. We barely talk. So maybe what she needs is like what you give me.
I give you what exactly?
A hard time? I chuckled to myself as Ty dropped down next to me, stretching out. I think more just someone you can talk to about stuff. Anything, you know. There's stuff I told you I didn't tell her, or Orlando, or even Dad.
Shit, why didn't you tell David?
Just small things, nothing big really. I felt comfortable just telling you, so I did. Ty nodded slowly, scratching his neck.
Well, I guess you're kind of the same, yeah? Although not like I had many options.
Thanks, I think.
No, I mean, like, it's a good thing. Like that you're my guy for that. Even compared to Hoss, that's like, I don't know. I feel better going to you about stuff.
You've been opening up to Dean and stuff too, right?
Well, that's because he's going to be your boyfriend or whatever.
I let the comment hang there, instead pulling at a stray piece of fur sticking out from my cheek.
What?
Don't worry about it, Ty. It's fine.
I care it is.
I just don't think I like Dean as much as what other people want me to. Dean's a great friend. We go out and see stuff, eat food, but like, should I be feeling some kind of magical spark like in movies?
Fuck if I know.
Well, you should.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
What I mean is like, how do I make you feel?
Oh, pissed off sometimes.
Ty sighed out and quickly ran his hands through his fur, making it messy. It already started to bristle over the last few moments after I'd spoken.
But then, like, there are the times where I feel safe. Kind of like this stupid warm feeling in my chest. It's nice, but like in a not gay way.
Right.
I feel like this is stupid. This is about you.
Kinda, but like, what I feel for Dean isn't really like that. He's big and strong and that makes me feel safe. He's kind and sweet and I'm probably able to laugh a lot more freely around him now. But he's just not someone I love. Maybe I will someday. Maybe I won't. It always seems silly to be considering all these kinds of things when we could be dead tomorrow.
Yeah, we might be dead tomorrow, but we probably won't be.
I just don't want people expecting me to choose Dean just because I like him and he likes me back. I like other people too.
Okay, fine. I'll back off.
Good. Ty started to pull at his fur and I reached out to grab his wrist. Oh, stop that, you'll hurt yourself.
Well, it just sucks, you know? The hurting? Yeah, like, I'm happy for you that you're, like, getting yourself together. You're acting like you've grown a pair again, or maybe I just forgot how much of a brat you can be sometimes.
That's a good thing, right?
Well, it means I can work on my own shit now.
Don't think you have to do it alone, you know. Ty didn't look at me, instead slumping in his spot next to me.
Can I ask you something?
Anything, what's up?
I'll ask you way back about who you thought looked better. Between me and Hoss, I mean.
I remember.
What did you think of that?
I thought it was confusing, but I think I answered honestly. You know, like... I shrugged, lazily looking over at him. Sometimes I like being told I look good. Being compared to Hoss is either a recipe for disaster or just... I don't know. Hoss takes care of his appearance.
How bad it could it be?
He called me a hot mess once.
Being called hot is good, right?
Apparently being a mess is still a bad thing. All I really remember is that Orlando had a laugh for telling him off. Then said I look cute.
Well, you do. Look cute, I mean.
Oh, you look cute too?
Oh, fuck off. Can't I be hot or at least handsome? Dean calls you handsome all the time.
What does it matter what I think?
Because I care what you think.
Sure, then you can be handsome. 100% handsome wolf.
That's a fucking lie, but I'll take it.
I shuffled closer and rested my head on the spot between his shoulder and chest. Ty, it's moments like this that really make me worry, you know?
Worry? Why?
It feels so nice. But at the same time, like the moment I get comfortable, something's going to come along and ruin it.
So the hunting for medals thing isn't much of a distraction?
We're not really hunting medals at all, are we, Ty?
I guess not. What else is there to do?
Well... Ty pulled off his shirt and started playing it within his hands. Something about what he was doing made him seem nervous.
Could always just, fuck or whatever.
What, right here?
You're the one who hinted at wanting it.
That was a while ago now, Ty. We don't... I mean, it's a little... Besides, I guess I always figured you just riling me up with that offer.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, it's just something I feel like I should be into more, but, Get anywhere near my tail and I start just thinking about the worst kind of stuff.
Put your shirt back on, Ty. We don't have to do anything you don't want to do. He quickly put it on and shifted uncomfortably on the spot.
One day I'd like to get there, just so I can say I've done it.
With me, or...
Or maybe. That's not important right now.
He got up, offering out a hand.
Now come on, we should at least try and find the other half of this thing.
Or any of the others, right? I stood up and smiled at him.
Do you feel better at least, having just had this talk?
He stepped in closer and wrapped his arms around me. In turn, I did the same. We just stood there hugging for a bit.
I do, yeah. Still scared as all hell though, but this makes it easier to cope.
We could stay here if you wanted. We're safe together and no one would need to know.
Until you start getting hungry for lunch.
Or if Orlando makes pumpkin bread.
Shit, he's making pumpkin bread? When did he tell you that?
I chuckled the moment Ty realised I was joking and he grumbled. Even taking a break for lunch, nothing came up. Not that we looked very hard. We didn't really have any direction to begin with. We barely ran into any of the others too, all keeping distracted in their own way. It seemed very few of us were actively searching for more medals. Not that I could blame them either. When we all gathered for lunch, it was almost as if there wasn't a homicidal rabbit in the woods. We all sat down and seemed to be in higher spirits in general. At some point, Oswin and Benson had swapped out from keeping watch, and given the lack of gunshots, it seemed we were still without any extra guests. It brought me some relief, but still had me anxious. Almost like the prospect of someone threatening to pop a balloon inches from your face, without telling you when or why. But still, it seemed that Oswin and Benson were discussing who should keep watch next. With how Benson was fussing over Oswin, it reminded me of Dad. Granted, Benson was shorter by Oswin by a fair bit, but he seemed to comply, if begrudgingly, to whatever it was that Benson had decided for the two of them. No one else seemed to have turned up anything as far as medals went either, but progress was progress, even if it was just getting us back into the motions of looking for them. We ate dinner and everything was surprisingly normal. But as I ate, something started to eat at me again. Something about this morning that made me just wonder what I should do next. Thankfully, I knew exactly who to ask. Oswin, can we talk? The two of them turned to me as I lingered halfway through the open door to the backyard.
Oh, we can. Did you require privacy?
If you need it, I can step inside should you wish. No, it's fine. Stepping outside was in the night air. I breathed in deep and looked around. So far, so good, even with the familiar feeling of the night chill nipping at my fur.
Is everything all right? Did you find a medal by any chance?
No, not that.
Then what is it?
I was just thinking about everything that had happened up until this point, wondering about, what our next move should be. After all, we can't just continually be on the lookout, right?
You have a point, my boy. Have you thought of any ideas on what we should do?
Not really, but I did have a question.
Well, he started to remind me of Roswell.
In what way?
Well, he's been quizzing me a lot lately about what we should do as well, what the next move should be and such. After all, his idea of a vacation has been tainted by this unfortunate arrival. Question after question, that young boy takes after his mother for sure. Dave didn't come out here to hear you reflect on Roswell. He's clearly got something on his mind.
Right, well, it's the thing behind the vault door.
Oh, what about it?
You said this morning that, you can't let that get into the hands of someone bad because of what they could do with it. If we destroyed it, then what's the risk? Oswin huffed, standing stiff.
Alas, I don't know the code to the door, so that plan is a failure from the get-go.
Well, you don't, but Benson does, right? The two of them looked at one another quickly before turning back to me.
That's a tad more complicated than I've let on, Dave.
But how? You said if we could find all the medals we got, what was on the other side. That's just because you're gatekeeping for the sake of the game, right?
Yes, and no, regrettably.
I don't like the sound of this.
Well, I know the password to the thing inside the vault. There's a containment vessel holding what we spoke about, but that's not tied to the vault mechanism. Unless I told you, you'd struggle to get past the security on that thing. Beyond that, however, I'm sorry to have to inform you that while I can ensure that you're allowed to whatever's behind that door, should you find the medals, as of right now the password eludes me as well.
Wait, so that door can't be opened at all? I don't understand. What's the risk of just handing it over then and we can just hike back home?
Do you have to remove a basement door from a mountaintop building, Dave? We cannot simply just hand over the room to him.
But it's not the room at all, is it? It's something else, unless he's a genius like you are. I don't think it's that dangerous.
I'd refrain from stroking his ego if I were you. Still, perhaps there is something we could do to stave off some danger. Perhaps meeting with this rabbit could warrant some thought. Well, not meeting with that rabbit again. Once was bad enough.
Whoa, wait, you'd met him before?
I'd hardly call it a meeting, but he was present the last time Memphis Noble came toting up in his limousine.
Why is this only coming up now? You got a good look at him, right?
Unlike Oswin, who's prone to jump the gun when it comes to our legomorphic visitors, I prefer to be certain before taking action. If it is indeed the same Jack, and I'm almost positive it is, he's more useful to us alive. He tried to kill me. All the more reason we should do away with him if we get the chance. He's trespassing.
He wants a vault and he wants to know if Benson's still alive. Which I guess he should know about now, right?
So long as I'm around, I think we should be alright. After all, what's the worst he alone can do?
He literally was going to stab me.
Fair point. Regardless, we have no bargaining chip we can hand over to make him leave us alone either.
My head started to hurt. Without realising, I closed my eyes and clutched my temple.
Interesting.
What is?
Oh, just you. I worry that come the month's end your head is going to be hurting a lot more if you keep using the vault.
I could just be dehydrated, maybe.
If you wish for an injection, I can oblige. But in lieu of Benson's disapproval, let me say that I imagine the vault is doing a number on your psyche. Remembering events from past iterations of the timeline, who knows what change that could have on you or how lasting it may be. That's enough, Oswin. He's not one of your lab rats.
Thanatos has a brother I haven't met.
No, it's just him. Just as well, I have no fondness for that thing.
It's just a rat, Benson.
If you say so. Now, was there anything else?
I guess not. Is there ever a plan of what to do next? Can I be told first? Or if not first, just one of the first?
I shall endeavour to ensure that for your peace of mind, Dave. Okay, cool. Thanks. Was there anything else? Just one more question, but for Benson. Oh? What is it, my boy? If we got you all the medals, what do you plan to do with them? Do they make a key? Do they have some special thing that lets you open the door, or...? Benson looked at Oswin, who quirked a brow curiously at him in kind. That's a complicated question. Probably one best answered once all the medals are found. Try me. If I leave now, I'll probably up thinking about it. He's got you there. Very well. I have my orders in that should all the medals be found, I am to prove it, and in turn I'll get the password to the vault door for essentially granting to whomever I so choose. I never gave you such orders. Indeed, this one was a directive issued by your sister. She's here? Oh, I highly doubt that, sir. This request for her came long before Dave and his friends arrived. Truth be told, I was a bit confused as to why I'd be given one, but such is serving the Hammond family after all. But with the phone's not working, I guess calling her or snapping a picture is going to be impossible. Quite. However, I'm sure I'll figure something out. I'm a man of my word, after all. I could almost hear Oswin grinding his teeth in frustration from where I stood. We stayed quiet. Okay, well, I guess I'll head on to bed then. And, thanks. You're very welcome, Dave. Good night. I headed back inside and wandered up to my room. The house was quiet without being silent. The others were around, some chatting, some just minding their own business. How they moved hinted that they were still there. It eased the tightness in my chest I didn't realise I was still holding there. Closing the door behind me, I sighed out and had a shower. For my own sake, I needed to make sure I stayed on top of that as the routine would keep me focused. Without thinking, I pulled out my phone and got halfway through sending a message to Ty before realising the reception was out. I considered sending it for a moment before just deleting the whole lot and instead looking at pictures of him on my phone. There were a couple he'd taken of me doing stupid things, some I'd taken of him doing equally stupid things, plus a couple that Dan had sent me. Stopping one, the two of us cuddling in close together, I remember Dad sending it to me over morning coffee, and I almost choked upon seeing it. At the time, I thought that it was stupid and he shouldn't have done that. The more I looked at it, the more it brought me a sense of comfort that I could readily place. I turned off the light and got into bed. Plugging my phone in, I just waited while I listened to the ongoings of the house. Part of me hoped Tyson would just appear and we could cuddle. Part of me worried what might happen if he did. He liked his space after all. Especially so when heavy stuff was getting to him, and they had some fairly heavy stuff brought up. It felt foreign to me that he wouldn't trust me anymore for getting help. We'd always been like that. With a sigh, I rolled over and tried to get some sleep. Maybe if I was lucky, I'd get to spend another night with him soon. There we go. That is the end of Tyson's Day 16. So I hope you enjoyed this with password. And the next password video will of course be Dean's Route, which will be later in March. It's going to come out 15th of March. So I'll do it sometime after that. And there will be another video in the next couple of days. It's a long weekend here, so I decided to do a couple of videos instead of just one. And I had planned it to be Tennis Ace, but another series I'm doing might be out. I'm not sure yet. I've got to check on that later. So either Tennis Ace or that one. And if I don't do Tennis Ace this weekend, that's the first thing in March, next weekend. Thanks for watching. And I have to go and check on my cake now. I just heard the oven buzz before I finish this. Hopefully it's done. Yes, I'm being busy today. I'm making cakes, and I would offer you all a slice if I could. But until next time, bye for now.